guys, it's TBGP, and today we are playing Paralives for the first time. Hey, let's go. Well, not playing, but, you know, creating a character. First of all, thank you guys for subscribing, views, comments, and all the good stuff. Thank you guys so much for everything, and thank you. So, I bought Paralives. I've literally been saving just a random $40 so I can get this game. And now that I have it, I decided to, let's get started with a series, you know, guys? Let's start with a series. And I want to start with 2 paras, so that is what I'm making today. I'm going to introduce my paras, and then I'm going to actually talk about my first impression. So I may be actually talking the full length of this creator para. I don't know what the heck I'm going to name this. Isn't it called Pam? Pam Paramaker? I don't know, man. So, I decided to create 2, like I said. One is a very, very short woman. I did it on purpose, but I didn't expect how short she was gonna be, but it's fine, it's fine. Her name is Morgan Morrison for some reason. I don't know why I went with that last name, but I just wanted to use the name Morgan. So, we have good old girly Morgan. She's supposed to be more of a very sweet girl, you know? It's kind of her thing. She's a sweet, gentle, nice person. I don't particularly remember the exact personality I gave her, but just know I believe one of them is good at taking care of people, you know? That's neat. That's nice. I like that about her. She's super sweet. I think she came out cute, even though I had some struggles with her. I'll get to that in a minute, but this is Morgan. She's cute. I like her, but her story is that she is a sweet, cute, lovely young lady who is living in this city. She is gonna work somewhere. I gotta figure out what job works best for her. I would have loved to have been like a librarian or something, but I don't know if that's actually in the game. So I'm not gonna say librarian, but something very much like in that vein. She's usually very calm, very peaceful, very sweet, and quite insecure about her appearance. You couldn't tell by how, you know, cute she actually looks in game, but, you know, that's just one of the things I wanted to give for her. Then she barely has friends. Now moving on to my other para, who I'm just gonna say creating him was the demon seed of Davy Jones. Oh my freaking gosh. His name is Corey Gomez. He is a more rugged, rough, manlier man, even though I'll get to that in a freaking second. Oh, I will get to that. But he's a more manly kind of man. And he's more rugged, more rough around the edges because, you know, he has his own issues in life, and that's why he is the way that he is, you know? I'm not going to reveal every bit and piece about all these characters. I'm not doing that because I do have a storyline going on. But he's been through some stuff, and he is now living with her. They're roommates because they were friends online. Neither of them knew what each other looked like, but they decided to meet, and he's staying with her for a small amount of time. Obviously, that time is just the entire length of my series. He's staying with her, and so they can get to know each other a little bit more. He doesn't like people seeing his scars, so he is also insecure. And she thinks that she's just ugly, so she's insecure. You know, that's a good pairing together. I may or may not use this storyline again, maybe in The Sims one day, and do it the way I want to, because this is not the way I kind of wanted these characters to look. Obviously, I'm not expecting much from an early access game, but I'm just gonna say this I don't want to sound like I'm one of those. I expected more from the Paramaker. And I'm gonna get into why. First, there are certain features that I do enjoy from this, and I do like the color wheel. Obviously, I always appreciate a color wheel. And I do like the height sliders and stuff like that. That's neat and all. But I do find issue with some of the other stuff. First, I'm gonna go down with bodies, first of all. We're gonna talk about this as one of my biggest freaking problems. And this is not just a Paralives problem. It happens in Inzoi. It happens in a lot of other games. But it irritates me so freaking bad, right? So making people who are bigger or slightly different shaped, like fat people, obviously, that's what I'm gonna say. I am a certified fat person, all right? I am very chunky. So I do like making my Sims and characters in other video games quite chubby. You guys have seen it. I do it quite often because I do like making these type of characters. My issue comes when clothes or the body just doesn't look freaking right. So when it comes to the fat body in this game, it's awful. I'm just gonna be honest. It's not very good. First of all, you are not very fat. It's not that big, bro. You are really just kind of chubby, and it's like so irritating. Everyone's always like, our game is all inclusive and all this kind of stuff, but then when it comes to the fat bodies, it doesn't freaking work. Like, they're barely fat half of the time. They're like slightly chunky, and it's so freaking irritating. I have her weight on max weight, and she's still not big enough. And it's so annoying. Not to mention, just like Inzoi, yeah, I'm comparing it to Inzoi in this case, very limited in the body area. Like, I can't do much. That and the boobs are too pressed together. That's also kind of annoying. And I don't think you can make them big enough. Like, these are just problems I have. I feel like I'm gonna have to make an entire video dedicated to fat bodies in Life Simulator games, but that is from another time. My problem also is the clothing. The clothing clips, and it looks just awful. This is not being like, oh, art style wise, blah, blah, blah. No. The clothes on the fat bodies clip so bad, and it looks so wrinkly and crinkly, like they did not properly mesh the freaking clothes to the bodies. Why is my question? Why would you do such a thing? And look, I get it. Everyone's different, blah, 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 whatever. My problem is don't do that. If you're gonna have a bigger body in the game, please make the clothes fit the bodies. I don't think I've seen a game ever make the clothes fit the bodies besides the Sim series, and they're not particularly good with it either. How can a game from 2009 make people's clothes on the fat bodies fit better? It just doesn't look right. And then this leads on to the male bodies. Men barely look like men, at least body-wise. There's not much you can do to make them look like, I guess, a big burly man, because it's just something off. Their entire bodies are like a little too feminine, and it makes it so hard to make them look super manly and stuff like that, which that's something I want to do. I did my best with him, but like, you still can't make them big enough. You can't make them muscular enough, burly enough, and it's irritating. I forgot to give him body hair. That makes me kind of mad. But anyway, you can't make them like that. And I will also just say the hairstyles for the men freaking suck, dude. I'm sorry. Some of them are okay, but some of them fit so weird on their head. And don't get me mentioned on the jawline. I don't know. I don't want to sound sick of being too mean or this or that. I'm not trying to be. I'm trying to give actual criticism to this, because I feel like a lot of people play this up as, oh my gosh, this is such a great character creator, when it is okay and it has potential to be better, but it needs a lot of work, especially in the areas that I'm talking about. That junk makes me want to punch somebody's grandma. It's so bad. And like I said, male clothes and hair, limited. There's legitimately nothing for men almost. Most of the clothes are too feminine, and they make the men's bodies be like snatched. Okay? Like, I can just spawn a random male para in here, and if I give them most clothes, like especially the t-shirts and stuff like that, they make them look too feminine, especially when you're trying to make a manly man. Obviously, not everyone's trying to make that, but all the clothes, they're like weird. They don't look right, and some of them, obviously, I can tell they are more made for women than they were for men, because they have like a weird waistline, and sometimes it looks like they almost have the outline of boobs. It don't work for men, dude. That's all I'm saying. And it makes me irritated, because I like making male characters, and Life Simulator games do not think about men at all when you're playing this. And, you know, not acknowledging that sometimes people like to make men, okay? People do like making men in video games, so I don't know why this is a thing. And look, I'm not gonna complain too much, because I do gotta save stuff for my Paralives video, and I do plan on playing around with it more, so maybe my opinion will change. But for now, I genuinely think this is very limited as a character creator. I think Inzoi had more, and that game was made in 2 years. And that's not me saying that, oh, they had smaller teams. My thing is that Paralives apparently been working on the build mode and to create a character for the longest time, right? Those are the longest times of the like development, and I understand that. But my issue is when you come with a character creator and people hype it up to be, oh, it's gonna be this. This is actually one of the things I was very excited for in this game, like the actual character creator. And I hate to admit it, I don't really like it that much. I think it's limited. Oh, this is another mention. Their heads are so flat in the back. This is just a me problem maybe, but oh my gosh, their heads are so flat in the back, and like sometimes their foreheads are so flat too, so when you look at them from the side, you're like, bro, what the freak happened to your head? So yeah, that is something I do think needs to be fixed a little bit. And also art style wise, let's talk about the lines on their bodies. We don't need all that. It's better to go simple than adding too many details, because tell me why my fat para still has a collarbone. That don't work, bro. As like I said, a certified fat person, you don't see my collarbone like that. You do not at all. It's smooth up here, very smooth. Okay, so that's why I'm like, I don't know. That's what bothers me about this. And look, I'm not trying to be harsh or too mean. I might come off sounding like that way, but honestly, I'm just sick and tired of this and the like neglect of being fat in video games, and especially Life Simulator games, which, like it or not, fat people do exist. So we should be able to make ourselves in a Life Simulator game properly. I don't know, maybe I'm just being mean. Say it, I haven't finished playing enough of the game, and I can tell you this, I probably have way more positives about the build mode than I do the create a character. And this is really funny about me, because I usually like to create a character more than most other things. I don't really like building in the games, so we'll see. Hopefully I like the gameplay in the build mode, but for now, the Paramaker is kind of just irritating, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I've never been more frustrated making a character in a video game as I was making these characters. Really, it just was so irritating making a man, because it was so hard to make them look super manly and super nice, because there's so many issues. I might have to make a separate video just talking about this, but this is my first impressions of this. I think it's quite limited. I don't like the clothes. basically at all. I don't like how they fit on the characters' bodies, and also how everything is crinkly when you're fat. Please stop doing this. I'm genuinely tired of this, and I also don't think the painted on clothes works well for this game. Like, I guess art style wise it might, but like actually texturing and configuring wise, probably not. And I don't know if they're gonna probably change that in the future or go it, but any feedback is any feedback. So if I end up writing a long feedback thing about the bodies and the clothes, ooh, look forward to that. But for now, this is it. I will go more into my characters in the gameplay video, which I don't know what's going up next anymore. I have so many videos that I've recorded and building up, so we'll see what's coming up on Friday. It was supposed to be the build video, but we will see. So with that much said, thank you guys so much for watching. This was TBGP. I will see you lot next time. Pay attention to my community tab, and bye.